Yo, what's going on, guys? Versal here, and today I want to go over a few different tech choices that you can use in your dinosaur deck when it comes to building an end board. This is more for like the old school type of dinos when you're like focused on pop the baby style of gameplay. So whether it's the True King version, which I did a profile for the other day, or if it's just like traditional blind second dinos, which I'm sure I'll do one for that as well when the format gets a little more developed. But it's just some things that I think is good to be aware of, that it exists and are potentially options that we can go for moving forward, depending on how the format shapes up, if you still want to play like a more old school version of dinos. So before I get into all that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, definitely do that now. Drop a like, comment, all that good stuff. It all helps me out. So the main focus of this video is going to be on the G Golems and arch nemesis Protos. So I think these are new pretty much because of the Link Reborn ban. A lot of you guys probably aren't too familiar with these cards. And then Protos, I thought this was going to get rebanned, but it didn't. And Banshee also didn't get banned, so you can get into this card extremely easily. And if the format shifts more towards board breakers, which some people think will happen, a card like Protos is extremely good. Because like cards like Dark Ruler and Super Poly, for example, hurt your like Xeno end boards a lot. And you can't really do anything about it. And then Lars is good into like other board breakers, but Protos just kind of ignores them for the most part because you're locking them on your turn and it lingers. So it's definitely good to have as an option if the format does shift to breakers. And then the G Golems, these were really good as a like utility option, mostly for going second, but they used to be good for going first as well. In versions of the deck where you choose to cut out all the extra bricks, like the Xeno cards, for example. So you're just playing with like basic dino stuff. They just allowed you to get a little bit higher ceiling. And with Appaloosa banned, that definitely hurt that a bit. The options weren't great otherwise, but there's something that you can do, which I'll show in this video, that is decent to raise the ceiling for sure. But yeah, these are going to be the main focus, the G Golems, and then I'll touch on the Protos when I get to the combo as well. But I've shown that off in the past several times. So I'll kind of just go over what these two are used for before I get into the combo. So when you go second, these cards allow you to make access code a little bit easier with one less body, and it's putting 3 attributes in the grave for you, so you have 3 pops. So you'll have an access code with 4,300, 3 pops, and then you'll have UCT, and you'll have material to make a rank 4 as well. So it's usually going to be Dolka. But it's just really nice to have that extra utility to be able to still go into the access code and have the rank 4 alongside it, just because these cards let you get into this with 1 less body. So it's definitely good to have. And then when you go first, something cool that you can do, like I said, we used to go for Appaloosa with these two, and then you could either use a third body that you bring back off this to make it a 3 material Appaloosa, or this can add back to hand as well. So what we used to do is add Petite to hand, so when your Conductor would pop it on their turn, this would float into either a Pank if you need an extra disruption, or an OV to get you follow-up. So that used to be what we like to go for with these. But now, I think if you want to turn these into something going first, there's a line where you can make the Terahertz, which this card can kind of be follow-up on its own if it sticks, because it gets huge in attack points. But you can do the same thing. You can make this alongside rank 4 and Conductor. So like this would kind of be your end board. And then the Terahertz on your turn is going to dump the D-Save Worm, which gives this a spell trap negate, and then on their turn you can dump like an aggregator, which gives it's like a delayed imperm pretty much. There's a synchro monster, I think it's called like Packbit, I believe is the other send you can use, but these are just like 2 of the most generic ones. But yeah, this card's like pretty good for the ceiling, gets you the spell trap negate, another disruption here, and then the like attack points are just huge after you get those sends as well. So it's pretty good to be able to go into. I'll show you guys how to do the combo in a sec. But so it started off with just like the regular, just any 2-card dino combo. Could be OV Misk, either of these in a baby, Archosaur baby, just really any 2-card combination that works. But you're gonna use your Oviraptor, search a baby, then activate Mask for 1, summon Archosaur, pop the baby, add pill, and then the baby engraved is going to float into a petite or a baby, it doesn't really matter. Then you're gonna use OV to pop, summon back, and then the child that you destroy is gonna float into Giant Rex. For the Protos line, this could be Kaito or Rex. It doesn't really matter. Then you want to summon the baby under the EMZ for the Protos combos, by the way. But for the G Golems, you need to specifically be on Giant Rex because the attribute matters. So I'll do the G Golem combo first before touching on the Protos, I guess. So for the G Golem combo, you're going to turn the Archosaur into a Link Karibo. Slide these down a little bit. And then you're going to turn your 2 Earth monsters into the Stubborn Menhir. And then you can turn these 2, because they're both Cyverses, into the Crystal Heart. And then this one is going to summon back the Menhir to the zone under it. And then with this one summoned back from the grave, you can take an Earth from your graveyard and either summon it or add it to your hand. And we're going to summon it for this combo. So from here, what you can do, like I said, if for the access code thing, it's a little easier because you can just go straight into it now with these 2, and you don't even need to revive this. You can do whatever you want with that, but from there you just make access code with these 2, and then when you pill, this is going to come back, this is going to summon, and then you can make your rank 4 here. But I'll show you what you can do when you go first if you're playing like the like a stripped down dinosaur deck. So from here, you're going to use the Crystal Heart and the card that you revive off the Stubborn Menhir to go into a VLAN Hydra. I don't own this card, so I had to make a little proxy. But it's a Link 3 Cyverse monster that takes 2 monsters except tokens. So it gains attack for each monster that's co-linked, which doesn't really matter. But the main thing is you can target a Link 3 or lower monster that's co-linked to this card. And you can tribute it and special summon tokens that are Cyverse level 1s equal to the tributed monster's Link rating. And then you can't summon Link monsters with that rating for the rest of the turn, which doesn't really matter. But yeah, this points down and then the Menhir points up, so they're co-linked. And then you can use this to tribute this. And then you're going to get 2 tokens, which just get some dice, I guess. So these would be like your 2 Cyverse tokens. And then now you have a Link 3 and then 2 level 1s. So you can make the Link 5, because the Terahertz requires 3 Cyberse monsters, so you can make that there. And then this is going to dump the D-Save Worm on your turn, and you can use your pill. Banish Rex and a non-dino. And this is going to come back, this is going to summon, and then you can make your Dolka. So that's like how the G Golem stuff works, whether you're going first or second. And then hopefully you have like another baby or something, so you can pop it with this and get you some follow-up or another disruption potentially if you need it, if it happens to be petite. But that's kind of how like the G Golem stuff can help you when you're playing like a more stripped down dinosaur deck, which is nice. Then I'll kind of reset back to before that, where we had baby Archosaur, Rex, and Ovi. So, and then you want this here for this combo. So this is how you're gonna do it to get into the Protos. You're just gonna make these 2 into Banshee, detach the Rex, add your flag, And then there's ways you can sequence this that's better in the hand traps, but I'm just gonna kind of show just how like the basic combo works. You can use flag to put back the misc, which is nice, and then that's gonna add you the Protos. So what you can do is link this off, link these two off to Reproducus, pointing to the baby, which is going to be important. And then you can use the pill to banish the Banshee and the Rex, summon UCT, and then the Rex is going to come back, and the Banshee is also going to come back because the flag's on the field, since you have a pyro on the field. So you can use the Reproducus to make this whatever attribute you want. Kind of depends on the matchup. Things are going to change with your end board based on that. And that way, when you summon the Protos, you can call whatever attribute you changed the Reproducus to. And then this is going to float into the misc that you put back to get you to the second level 4 to make a rank 4 with. So you basically have these 3 bodies here that you can play with. There's a few different things you can go for. It kind of just depends on your extra deck. You can go for like an SP, or you can go for Promethean Princess into like Amblo Whale or whatever. I'm not sure what the best thing to go for is. I haven't really labbed out too many different things with the Protos line yet, but this is kind of the point where you get to, and you can just have all these extra bodies to play with. But like, say you just use these, for example, to go into Promethean Princess, bring something back, and then just make like an Amblo Whale heal. I'll just put like access code just to signify it's an Amblo Whale. I don't feel like going to pick it up. But what you can do here is you have 3 different attributes now for Protos. You can summon this by banishing 3 of them. Call the attribute that you changed. This will get destroyed. It's going to float into the misc, and then you can make a rank 4 with this. So there's probably something that you can end up doing to put this body to use, but like I said, I haven't like gone too deep into these again, just kind of reintroducing them to you guys. But yeah, if this is like Princess Amblo Whale, for example, or something else, whatever, it's not really that important. You could just use the link bodies to whatever you see fit. And then the main thing is you get to the Protos lock, you get to the Conductor, and then you get your rank 4 with your misc as material, so you have follow-up. So it's just pretty good to know these things, especially if the format shifts to breakers, like I said. But it's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed, learned something, maybe put this to use, like I said, if you play like just a more stripped down, older version of Dinos. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care. Peace.